Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. In honor of the spooky season, I thought I would go over my top 5 spookiest creative maps based off of different monsters and Halloween-like characters. So we're gonna hop right into it. So yeah, let's do it. The first map we will be taking a look at today is a map where I combined 3 very popular Halloween monsters and put them all in one map. I was going to add more, but I just decided on staying at 3 and then putting up some walls around it. And those monsters are Dracula and Dr. Frankenstein's monster. They will be in the castle. The Egyptian mummy will be in that very small, it just really looks really dumb, the pyramid looking thing. And then finally we have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So we'll take a look at that, and yeah, so that'll be really cool. Anyway, I'm going to show you around the village first. So we have, over here, we have just some houses with some Halloween decorations, and then behind the house, we have a graveyard, and in the graveyard, we have just, you know, different tombstones, one of these things. I can never remember the name of it, so I'm just going to call it a crypt for now. And then we have some coffins and some roses left by family members. And then on this one, there's a sign, and there's a hand sticking out of it. So you're like, die, kill it, kill it, kill it. But, so that's kind of cool. So we're going to move inside of the house now. Anyway, so you walk up to this guy. He says, hello, Dr. Jekyll, how are you on this fine morning? And so they don't really talk about it that much, but for this example, for this version of this house, what I did get right is there's no windows and there's one door, and that's the front door. That is taken straight from the book that those 2 characters originate from, but here we just have a normal lounge area that's a little spooky with a small stone fireplace. Then after you head upstairs, you can go into his room, and as you can see in Dr. Jekyll's room, it's in a little bit of a disarray. There's like potions and stuff on the floor. There's a bookshelf on the floor. And you see these like blue glowing footprints that lead out the window. And so that's supposed to be like Dr. Jekyll has transformed into Mr. Hyde. He knocked down some of his stuff trying to resist the change, and then he ran and jumped out his window to escape. And that was one of my first ever really mini details, and I really liked the way that turned out, so I just kept doing it from there. But anyway, that's it for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Let's move on to the mummy. So for the mummy, you have this certain this desert with a small pyramid in it, and in the pyramid you have different booby traps and stuff you got to get past. And it's very simple. Then you have on the right, you have these ancient Egyptian guards, these statues symbolically guarding the pharaoh, his tomb, and this is the mummy in this case. He's in the sarcophagus. Then over here, you just have a bunch of gold. And if you try disrupting him by taking an item, then I don't think it works. Oh shoot, it does work still. Okay. Well, that'll catch you off guard. It's very glitchy, and it doesn't really work anymore, but, that's fine, honestly, because that was honestly only put in there because of Indiana Jones, and I think it's pretty cool, the whole boulder thing. It tries to kill you, but, that was the mummy section, and the final section is based off of Dr. Frankenstein and his monster with Dracula, and it's, like, mixed with the castle is like mixed together. So, oh, warning, the lighting is about to change, so just caution. Okay, you made it. So here, starting off, you have a little moat around, and these little light change things, that's supposed to represent like you're hopping through dimensions. So you have a little moat with a drawbridge, and then you have these drapes hung over all of the windows so that Dracula doesn't get burned alive in his sleep, where he sleeps in this coffin right here. You have a little dining room, and upstairs, which I'll check out in a minute. When you head to the study, you can find this bookshelf that moves, and down here is a wine cellar and a dungeon with a couple extra coffins if Dracula needs them. Dr. Frankenstein's lab, where he's experimenting on Frankenstein, his monster, and this is like he's got like lightning shooting at him, and this is where that he would get raised up, and then the actual lightning would strike him, and he'd come to life. Now, there's not really any like play feature to it, but I just think it looks really cool. You have like him over the sheet, and I think that's pretty cool. But that's about it for this creative map. So we are going to move on to our next spooky creative map we are going to be talking about is the Haunted Mansion. Now, this Haunted Mansion is based off of the 2023, I think is when the movie came out, the 2023 remake of the original movie, which was based off of a ride at Disney World, Disneyland. So I take heavy inspiration from that. It is not a one-by-one recreation because it's not completely accurate size and everything. It's definitely not the size of the mansion, but it's just like a mini one, and I think it still looks pretty good. I'll let you take a look at the exterior really quick. So first up on the left, you have a little kitchen with like some notes and stuff everywhere. You got like a little dining room table, and then on the right, you have a little study room with like some bookshelves and a little ghost flying around everywhere. And then in the main room with the fireplace, jump scare. There's a little tent here to represent how in the movie they were so scared of the ghost that they they camped out in their living room instead of actually going to the actual room. Then you can head upstairs. You see a little armory with some like another ghost. These ghosts just show up randomly, I swear. Then you have this floating silverware set, and then you got some bedrooms with a little washroom there. But best part of the upstairs, you have the attic. And in this attic, you can find multiple pictures. You have one picture of the dead wife, and then you have a couple pictures of her husbands that she killed, which is a reference to the movie and the original story itself. Then you find the chest that has the crystal ball in it. Now that is from the movie, but I like that. I think that this came out pretty good. This interior. So we're gonna move to the outside, the backyard. So in this, this is the back side of the house. I think it looks pretty good. Then you have just some shrubbery, and then you move into the cemetery, where in the cemetery you have some rocks, some graves, tombstones, some lanterns, and then you have a mausoleum, some crypts, some statues, more tombstones, lamp, swing sets, so that's kind of cool. Does that move? No, it doesn't. Okay. Thought that moved for a second. Some coffins that are sticking out of the ground, same with this. And I think that it adds to the scare factor, and it just makes this map just that much better. I'm very happy with how this map turned out, and even though it's not perfect, I think it is still pretty good. And we are going to move on to the next one. Alright, our third map is going to be the Spengler Farm from Ghostbusters Afterlife. Just like the last one, I made this map around the same time as the movie came out in 2021. But when it came out in 2021, I was a horrible builder, and so like the entire ground and everything was wood. I had prefabs everywhere, and like there was like 4 trees, so it looked really unbalanced. And so that's a little backstory. And then about a couple months ago, I came back, maybe a year ago almost, I came back, I redid everything, but I kept the same premise, so we're gonna go into that with that mindset and take a look. So, starting up, we might also actually so you break the thing, you break that, and then the Ecto-1's underneath, so that's kind of cool. But we might actually replace this Ecto-1 with the one from our Ghostbusters map, like our newer one, because it's more accurate and it doesn't look like this. And so here we just have the little shed where Trevor finds the Ecto-1, and then he takes it for a joyride. And this is also where they activate all the traps, as you can see there. And then they click the button, they click the pedal, and then all the traps shut. So a little bit more backstory. This house was a prefab, so when I redid this, I had to remake this entire house from scratch. And so that's why it doesn't look perfect, because I was kind of rushed to do it also. So we're just going to go into that. We're just going to keep looking. So here we just have some, like, the house is messed up. They're still moving in and everything. You have the chessboard to represent Phoebe playing chess with Egon. You have some symmetrical book stacking, because while it wasn't in the movie, it's a good reference to the original movie. It's a very small interior. There's no upstairs or anything. Moving on, there's also little silo, like energy conductors over there that they use to power up the traps. Then you can head over here to where Phoebe, where she finds this fire pole. She goes down the fire pole, and she finds this room with all the spores, molds, and fungus, the Ghostbusters uniforms, and all this, where she finds the file. This is where Egon has like all his notes and stuff are in these filing cabinets. He's got a map. He's got like a little "Are you a god?" that I put in this map. I randomly throughout it. Random quotes from the original movie will pop up. I don't know, it's something I thought was cool back then. But we have like the diagram of the house here, and then you have some more engineering stuff, some air conditioning, and some desks. But then over here you have a proton blaster, and I think that looks pretty cool. But we're gonna head back up, and that's about it for this map. It's kind of a smaller map, but it definitely is not perfect. There are things that I think could be better, and I think it's okay. Our newer Ghostbusters map is 100% better, though. This one still will go down in history, and I will always remember it, though. So we're going to move on to our fourth map. For our third map, we have... Actually, I'm going to give you guys a couple seconds to guess what this is. You guessed Hawkins Lab from Stranger Things. You would be correct. This map, I'm not too proud of the interior. The exterior, I think, is really good, though. And I made this a long time ago, so that's why it's a little outdated, and everything looks a little funky. But we're going to get right into it with the... So over here, you have the smokestacks, and then you have all of the technical stuff, and the satellites on top of the building itself. As you can see, the building is in the shape of a cross, kind of, which is just like it is in the actual show. So we're gonna move inside. There's like police cars outside, police tape covering it up. But in here we have blood, or what I thought was blood at the time. What I thought would make okay blood. And I want you to guess in the comments whose death this references in Stranger Things. I'll give you a hint. In season 2, this season 2 is when the death happens, and it's very memorable. But if you guess what death this is, I'll heart your comment. But we're gonna move on. So you have some basic office desks here, same back there. Then you have a room over here where there's like a little meeting room where they can talk about their experiments and stuff. Then you move over here. Here's a little room with some computers, and where they monitor the experiments, where the actual action goes on, where they have containment cells, and where they hold people like 11 that are gifted. And there's a couple of them. They used to have numbers on them, like 1 through 12 on each side, but it just, I don't know, I guess they got deleted or something. But the main part of this interior is the portal room to the Upside Down. Now, I'm actually pretty happy with how this portal room looks. I think it looks pretty good, especially the portal itself. We'll just take a look at it for a second. I'm very happy with how that portal looks. But, I mean, the back wall and the side walls are just too white for... They just look normal, and that just kind of looks weird to me. And if I wanted to redo it, I would definitely change that. But I was also going to throw in the rainbow room on this side, but I never really had the motivation to, and it just kind of didn't really feel like it was necessary, because I wanted to end this chapter of the creative map, and I wanted to just go on to other maps. So that was the Hawkins Lab, and I think it came out okay, but it's definitely not my favorite. Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll please. The final spooky map is Ghostbusters. Now I know that's anticlimactic, but just hold on. Stay with me here. I'm going to, since I already have whole videos talking about this map, I'm going to talk about some stuff I probably didn't talk about in those videos, which is like just my inspirations and everything. So this map is obviously based on the original 2 Ghostbusters movies, and some stuff I didn't show you is the rock Statue of Liberty. That's kind of funny. It was just something that I added last minute. But the main thing of this is, like, you go around fighting zombies. Now, originally I wasn't going to do zombies. Originally I was going to do something else. I was thinking about doing, like, these wolves, and I was going to have a fight with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man on top of this building, or one of these buildings. And I was going to have, you have to fight Gozer and everything. And I had literally planned it all out. I was about to do it. It was going to, and then everything just took a weird turn. And so I swapped that from a big fight on top of that rooftop to a courthouse fight and a Sedgwick Hotel fight. Now, the hotel one, I think is okay. Just kind of basic. And there's definitely more floors. The 12th floor is the only floor you can go to. But, this whole map was just amazing. I love the way everything turned out. All, like, the roads and everything. The sign. This car is the one I was talking about earlier. I think that this one is way better than the other one. There's not too much of a difference, but you can definitely tell where there is. So, I mean, I guess I didn't mention this either. You can sit in the chairs and stuff, but that's not what I meant. You can open this door. You can go down here, and instead of emptying your trap, you can hit this, and the room, all the lights turn red, and like, just, it's about to blow. If that is the switch that will deactivate the containment unit, which is a switch you do not want to click. And I was originally going to have it so that if you kept that on for like 10 seconds or 5 seconds, the entire map would just blow up and kill everyone. But, you know, I might add that later. I think that's kind of funny. But I know that was a little anticlimactic for the 5th spooky map, but I thought I'd do something special like that for the occasion. And I'm very happy with how everything, all of these maps turned out. They are not perfect, but I made them all in the exact image that I wanted to. And I am very happy with how every single one of these maps turned out. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please make sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!